Hello and welcome everybody to the first inaugural night of our live broadcasting from COP26. Happy Halloween. I hope you and your families are having a safe and happy holiday. I really want to thank the entire Waterkeeper Alliance team and staff for helping us with this endeavor. Bart, Patience, Lindsay, Lori, Nick, and of course, Chris Wilkie, who's been helping us with the programming of this next 2 weeks. Chris Wilkie is the Global Advocacy Manager for the Waterkeeper Alliance, and he's really helped us pull together some programming for these next 2 weeks. So if you have questions during the program, just put them in the chat and we'll try to get to them at the end of the show. So we really appreciate your being with us. And normally, I would be sitting here with my friend and colleague, the inimitable Dr. John Capice, probably known to many of you. John is the Kissimmee Waterkeeper, and he's a long-standing climate change expert. But he was handling a 4-hour conference in Gainesville today on climate change with a lot of student activities, and so he couldn't be with us. He's joining us on Tuesday. So on Tuesday, he'll be sitting to my side, and we'll do this together. The rest of our team is Rock Aboujouade, who's a very, very notable student activist, environmental activist, and knowledgeable. And he helped John with the conference in Gainesville today. And he's doing a live stream that we're helping with 3 hours from now for students across the country and around the world. So Rock is the third member of our team. And of course, Michal Fidler, who is our sort of go-to all-purpose tech guy and filmer and photographer. So Michael flew in from the Czech Republic to help us with this project, and we're really happy that to have him here. And Michael shot some footage of them setting up the conference. You know, today's the first day. So Michael shot some footage of the conference yesterday and the day before. And Michael seems particularly apt at getting into areas where the security don't want people to be. So I don't know how he does it, but he's able to get into areas and do a little filming. So we would like to show just a little short clip of the setting up of the conference that Michael has provided us. So there was just a few introductory shots of the conference that is just getting started. By the way, my name is KC Schulberg, and I'm your Collier County Waterkeeper. So I'm a brother in arms with you, and I'm so grateful to be a part of the Waterkeeper Alliance. So it's no subtle irony that the first day of this conference takes place on Halloween. Populations around the globe face no more frightening prospect for their futures than the cataclysmic floods, wildfires, tornadoes, hurricanes, sea level rise brought about by climate change. This conference is a pretty major affair. They'll have 20,000 attendees from 200 nations, occupying 1 million square feet of exhibition space. The overriding question is whether the conference will meet the moment and take action commensurate with the gravity of this crisis. Already the leaders of China, Russia, and India are probably not coming to the conference. That does not augur well. And let me just read something about China's statement. It was issued just 2 days before the conference started. China has published its long-awaited national plan on greenhouse gas emissions just days before the opening of the COP26 UN climate summit. However, the plan revealed on Thursday represents little progress on the previously announced ambitions of the world's biggest carbon emitter, disappointing observers of the vital climate talks. Emissions in China would peak by 2030 and be reduced to net zero 3 decades later, according to nationally determined contribution, NDC, submitted to the UN. This is widely regarded as too late to ensure that the world limits global heating to 1.5 centigrade above pre-industrial levels, which is the key aim of these talks. The reaction among analysts was that the new climate plan is disappointingly short of fresh details. The main targets of the updated NDC were announced last year by China's President Xi Jinping and are insufficient to keep the world on course to hold global heating to no more than 1.5 centigrade. So we're up against some extreme challenges. This morning in Glasgow, there were extreme weather conditions. So there was a storm that blew trees down on the rail tracks and prevented certain attendees or certain officials to attend the conference, and it delayed the opening for more than an hour. So that tells you there's a classic example of how extreme weather and what we're facing is interfering with this very proceeding. And my plane, I was supposed to leave Florida on Thursday. I had extreme weather conditions, a tornado watch, so they had to cancel my flight. I only arrived this morning. So here are cases in point of very vivid personal anecdotal cases that are depicting in pretty clear examples how we're challenging, how these challenges are really having day-to-day impacts on our lives. I saw this video yesterday, and some of you may have seen it, but I found it really, really well done and impactful. And I wanted to share that with you, the Raptor video. Michael, if you have that ready.
You okay? You need a minute? Cool. Okay. Listen up, people. I know a thing or two about extinction. And let me tell you, and you'd kind of think this would be obvious, going extinct is a bad thing. And driving yourselves extinct? In 70 million years, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. At least we had an asteroid. What's your excuse? You're headed for a climate disaster, and yet every year governments spend hundreds of billions of public funds on fossil fuel subsidies. Imagine if we had spent hundreds of billions per year subsidizing giant meteors. That's what you're doing right now. Think of all the other things you could do with that money. Around the world, people are living in poverty. Don't you think helping them would make more sense than, I don't know, paying for the demise of your entire species? Let me be real for a second. You've got a huge opportunity right now. As you rebuild your economies and bounce back from this pandemic, this is humanity's big chance. So here's my wild idea. Don't choose extinction. Save your species before it's too late. It's time for you humans to stop making excuses and start making changes. Thank you.
So yeah, I really like that video. I think it's really well done, and it delivers a powerful message. So what we're going to try to do with these podcasts, because you're going to get, this is going to be a big deal all week and next week, and you're going to get on your national broadcast channels the top line stuff, the national leaders who make their official speeches. But we're going to try to get behind the scenes and see some of the stuff, some of the alternative stuff that's going on here, which is often a lot more interesting. All week long, there's a whole bunch of schedules that really engage with indigenous peoples, with protesters, with young people. We're going to try to cover those to the extent we can, because I think those will be much more interesting. There were protests last night that were pretty colorful, and there's a big protest planned for this coming Saturday, 5 days from now. So we're going to try to cover that in the over the course of the next 12 days. We're really intent on also focusing on social justice and the inequities that climate change and this crisis cause for disadvantaged peoples. Social justice and climate justice are inextricably linked. It always seems to be that the people who are the least fortunate have the most disastrous effects from climate change, and whether it has to do with lack of clean water, drinking water, or air pollution, or whatever it may be. So we're really going to try to focus on that, the alternative voices, and those who are less advantaged than we this coming week. So really appreciate your willingness to let us put that forward for you. There's a very short clip of some protests that happened yesterday. So I want to share the other side of the proceedings. There will be all the heads of state, and Biden has half his cabinet here, Biden's here, Obama's coming, and most of the leaders of Russia and China are not coming. So that is also, it's not very promising. And I believe that Modi was not coming either from India. But most of a whole host of national leaders are coming, and they will be on the big stage every day. But we're kind of intent on showing the other stuff going on. So here's a short video of some of the protests that happened yesterday. So a very short video, and we're going to try to get some footage tonight. There's a big climate change Halloween parade, which is happening right now as we're conducting this podcast. So we can't be there capturing footage, but we will, and we'll try to show some of that tomorrow. The other thing we want to do with these podcasts is highlight the Waterkeepers. This is a program made by and for Waterkeepers. So, we've gotten a lot of support from Waterkeepers around the world. I mean, the Waterkeepers are doing an amazing job. They are on the vanguard. And as bad as the situation is, it's safe to say that it would be worse were it not for the Waterkeepers and the work the Waterkeepers are doing all over the world. So we have our finger in the dike, and we're trying to hold back the forces of degradation. We're doing the best we can. We have to step up. All of us have to step up. I know in my watershed, even though, my priority is climate change in Southwest Florida and Collier County. My second priority is wetland restoration. The third is HABs. The fourth is stormwater runoff, and the fifth is coral reef preservation. But all of those issues, they sound like disparate issues. They're all interrelated, and many of them dovetail back to climate change. I mean, if we have warming waters, then we're going to have more nutrients, and more nutrients is going to kill off the coral reefs. The stormwater is going to bring more nutrients into the water. We have extreme precipitation events, so that fuels everything. I mean, all these issues are interrelated, so it all kind of ties back in my watershed to growth and climate change. And this is, we're hearing stories of wonderful work being done all over the world. Chris is helping to corral some of those waterkeepers. So during the week, we will have interviews with those waterkeepers. Some of them are here at the conference, and some of them will be phoning in from Africa, Asia, around the world, North America, South America. So we hope to bring those to you and let those voices be heard, because they're doing just extraordinary work, and really it will be a privilege to be able to share the work that they're doing. So we really hope to include some of that in our daily programming for the next 13 to 12 days. So I don't know whether any questions have emerged yet. So we're going to close out this initial program, and we look forward to bringing more stories to you for the next 12 days until the conference ends on November 12th. And really appreciate your tuning in, and hope to see you tomorrow at the very same time at 3 o'clock. Thank you very much.